Deactivate.
Deactivate. Can you use that in a sentence?
I love to deactivate songs.
Strip Club Video with Danny Meyers, Dane Hansen, and Jarrell starts now.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. What do we got? Strip Club Video, episode 12. Can you believe that? This is our 12th show that we've done. We're doing good, staying consistent on it. I am Danny Meyers, DJ in Dayton, Ohio, live in Cincinnati, work in Dayton. We have Dane Hansen. He is with us. He is the general manager of the Pony 2 in Huntsville, or what were we calling it earlier? Westlandville, Alabama, because he kind of owns everything down there. And Jarrell, you are DJ at the Pony 2 in Huntsville. What's up, guys?
At the Pony. He's at the Pony 2.
Yeah, Pony 2.
It gets confusing down here, too.
The Pony also.
The Pony also, yes.
So we want to stir up a little shit today?
Oh, it's going to happen. It stirred up before we even started the show.
Yeah. So here's what we are going to talk about today. Automated DJ programs. And you're hearing from three people who DJ. So it might be a little harsh, but here we go. Jeb, there are two, basically, there's two that I'm aware of, software that can replace a strip, or that claims to be able to replace a strip club DJ. We have Cover Jock and we have Show Club VIP. You have worked with both of those. So do me a favor and tell me how these automated programs, for somebody who's never even heard of Show Club or Cover Jock, how do they work?
Well, basically it is a automatic rotation system that will call an entertainer up, play a couple of songs and take her back down. It's just it's kind of like autoplay on your Spotify, with the added element of saying a girl's name.
Okay. So it can introduce a girl, or you can bypass or deactivate that particular function. So what happens if, so how does it know the girls' names? How does it know how to pronounce them?
All of those are done offsite independently. They have different DJs and different MCs and even some radio jocks from around the country that work for these companies that sit in a booth somewhere. They have no idea. They can't see the girl. They can't see the room. And they just kind of put out a generic intro and outro.
Okay. So that's pre-recorded.
Yeah, it's all pre-recorded.
It's not computer voice where it sounds like a robot introducing. It's a real person's voice.
Well, it all depends on the voice that they're using, but yeah, some of them are a little bit more robotic than others. It's just like any other room full of DJs. There's 6 of them that sound a certain way, and 2 of them that sound this way, and 1 of them that you never want to hear again. They all seem to have that one voice. So
okay, and the music is. Okay, let's talk about the music side of it, because I know there's a lot of questions that I used to have before I saw it work. So I'm going to ask you the questions that I used to have. How does the music work? Where is the music stored? And how do you get music onto the server or computer?
All right, so both companies do it completely different. They both kind of offer something in the middle ground, though. Cover Jock, you can use your own database, add your own music. They do offer a subscription service. We didn't use it when I was using it. We just used our own music that we put in there. Show Club actually provides the music database. So, that can be, you can work with that company individually on what music they add into your particular one. Like we have 4 clubs here in town. One of ours is a country western place. So obviously their music database is different from, say, the Pony, which is a little bit younger crowd. So, they kind of cater to whatever the club needs. And like with anything else on a music database, it's a constant work in progress with that company. Cover Jock, like I said, never used a subscription base. I couldn't tell you how current they stay.
Okay,
but
so
the music's out there. I mean, music's not been a problem.
The music's been added. That's a positive about it. We're able to submit music weekly or monthly to the regional. And she'll get that to them, and they get it on uploaded onto there. So that's been a positive about it. And the music has continued to get better as we've added music to it, just like with anything else. When you add to it from a bunch of different angles, you get a bunch of different people's opinions. The music gets better, and you get stuff from all different places that works. So it's a positive part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like sharing the database.
So say it's a 1-person club. I mean, you've got a director and everything else that approves stuff. If you're a 1-person or maybe a 2 club, an owner who owns 2 clubs, Can he pick and choose what music goes on that database and what doesn't?
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just like he said about Uncle Buck's being a country Western bar, they don't have the same database that we have. It's catered or guided to that genre of music or that clientele.
It's actually one of the things the owners like a little bit better than they like us about is they have full control of the music versus with the DJ, we would occasionally maybe slip something in that was a little past what they wanted in their format. They have complete control of what plays now.
You know, another positive for it, I mean, on the music side of it is that it really, it keeps from that 6-7 minute song or the you know what I mean, it really helps with turning those dances properly on the time that they're supposed to be turned and maximizing that dollar. So again, another positive of it. You know, there are a lot of negatives that I have too, but I'm not just going to sit here and bash it. I want, you know, there are some very positive things that it does that help out the bottom line for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got music in the database that the entertainer or that the owner has either selected or designated somebody to select. Now tell me about the entertainer folders. An entertainer, she can pick what music from that database gets played when she's on stage, right?
Right. And just like a lot of us do on virtual DJ, when we were DJing, we make girls their own little folders. It does the same sort of thing. So you have an entertainer you attach a name to, then she starts to build up her own musical playlist. Along with that attachment of the name, of course, comes the pre-recordings for her intros and outros to get on stage. So those are actually in the same kind of music folder that would be, you know, on a virtual DJ folder. It's all put together in one. And they get to go through the database. Even on Show Club and Cover Jock is pretty much the same. You can go through the database and add songs to that particular entertainer.
I will draw a negative on that database because it's very hard to search. I think that's one of the things that could be fixed on Show Club is the way that it's searched and the way that it is labeled and the meta tags and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's being worked on as well, though. It really is being it's something that is being worked on.
That's a manager perspective from somebody that barely plays with it. Once you played with it enough, the searches you learn to search a little bit. Each search system is different. You know, back when Winamp was started, it was a different kind of search engine. You know, it's all kind of changed. You just have to learn the way it searches for things. And so it's a little bit more frustrating.
So what we figured out here in the first 7 minutes is that it sounds like on paper something that owners would love and DJs would hate. On paper.
I don't know.
Not all DJs would hate it though, because I mean, it really does. It helps. It has that music in those folders and it plays that music if you're not paying attention, which is probably not a good thing for DJs. But I mean, if you're trying to figure out what to play next, it does have that automatically right there for you. I guess it pops up under her name and you can always change the songs. And if it's not something that works with the room,
you know, the biggest downfall is for a DJ who likes to mix, you're going to lose that. But as a strip club DJ, we're talking over the transitions anyway. That's how people know the songs changed. You know, even in an EDM club, some of these customers can't tell one song from the next. So they just know whenever they hear the DJ, that was the end of the song. And so, I mean, same thing on those points. You talk right over the transition anyway. So it doesn't seem to really bother me in that aspect. The only part that I feel that I don't like, and I went home. I'll tell the story. First time I used Show Club after a couple of days, someone came up and told me they really loved the music I played that night. And I went home and cried because I didn't pick a fucking song the whole night. Like, you know, it does kind of knock your ego a little bit on it. But a good DJ working with that database and working with those entertainers, you can make pretty close the same show you would do if you were picking every song yourself.
Okay, and the voice activate thing. So this is the part that I want to be clear on. You can either you could leave the booth, put it on voice active, or the voice activate that function, and the pre-recorded voice will move into the next girl and into the next girl. You don't absolutely have to have a DJ there, but if you want to have a DJ there, then you can bypass that voice and you can do all the talking and it still plays the music.
Right. Or you can even leave it on and work with it. You know, there were times when I was working with Cover Jock, working with one of the voices, they had Kirby, one of our Panda brothers. You know, we would able to put together skits and I would go back and forth with pre-recorded voices. You know, there are times early in my shift, I'll leave Mike Gobby's voice still rocking through that thing. And I'll just talk on the round 2 part, or tell the girl when to stand by, or do the commercials in between, and still let his voice play for the first hour or two and save me my pipes on a 12-hour shift a little bit.
Does Mike Gobby open every break with bro?
Just about.
Okay.
It's just about.
Sorry, Mike. I know you're watching. Okay. So I think what I've done here is we pretty much established what the program can do.
Right.
And I think one of the other, we're going to get to both sides of this, but I was talking to a club owner who all of us know very, very well. I'll leave his name out of it. A couple years ago down in Miami, and he said, Danny, here's my problem. DJs are playing music that I don't want DJs playing. How do I fix this? And this, for that particular reason, if you want to control what is played and what isn't played, this is a good deal. So, I guess here's what I want to do. Let's start talking about some of the bugs in it, because as a DJ, I pride myself on reading the room. I pride myself on switching genres of music when I feel it's necessary. When you see a particular crowd come in that you want to cater to, you want to play that. This system, can it read the people in the room? Can it tell what age group they are? Can it tell how they're dressed?
Let's see, Jeb moved away and sat back when you started asking that question. I'll answer that. No, it can't.
It cannot at all. Not at all. It's the biggest handicap these systems have. You're on automation, so you're going to get middle of the road, generic, get you through the shift, grinding
radio commercials.
Yeah, the stuff that really, honestly, most people tune out and can't wait till the music starts again. We've been trained like that since the 70s from the radio. You kind of tuned out there. That's why they try to make jingles to get your attention. We just tune the commercials out and went right back to the song. It's the same thing. With
a DJ, though, if you use those automated drops that they have, it does change the voice, which gives a different voice for them to listen to. It kind of breaks that up again, trying to play both sides of it here. But it can't read a room. It can't thank somebody for tipping that just goes and throws a bunch of money. It can't acknowledge a girl that just did a hell of a trick on stage. It can't do any of those personal things that add that personal touch that a good DJ brings to the table. The problem is there's a lot of DJs that aren't good DJs. That's the reason these systems are here. Point blank. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't be here if people were doing their fucking jobs and weren't being a headache to the owners and managers and the girls and everything else.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the fry station at McDonald's. It used to be all manual. Now they push a button.
Okay, so Jeb, what was you had a quote before we started. What was it? I forget. You had a quote about you have to be better than the program or something.
Yeah, we as we talk about automation, we start talking about job loss and is it taking the job, and it does affect positions without a doubt. But as far as losing your job to automation, as long as you're better than that. Once again, it's kind of like that, the fry station at McDonald's, enough people screwed that up to where they automated it. As long as there are enough professionals pushing through, and automation is I don't think it ever will be able to replace this completely. And it's a long way from being a threat to most of us. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are, not paying attention to your job, don't really care, constantly giving the manager and the owner a headache, then automation is probably going to replace you.
And what do you do differently than that system? What else do you bring to the table? Do you call the girl up, call the girl down, and play the song? If that's all you do, then guess what? There's a system that does that for you, that does it a hell of a lot better and doesn't bitch and complain about a tip.
And that's where the owners and the managers, they really like the software. But every single one of them using the software is going to tell you they love it when the DJ shows up and they don't have to use it anymore. Mm-hmm. I promise you. There's plus and minuses to every system. I don't think automation's ready for big major venues. Mm-hmm. I don't think big monster clubs will ever adopt this system. Maybe if they start doing 24 hours, that time, like in Vegas, we were talking before the show, from 6 a.m. until noon, where, nobody really wants to DJ, period, and the club wants to stay open. It's mm-hmm. great for those points. It has replaced most day shifts in every club it's gone into.
Successfully. I mean, it really does, because it can run all those promos and specials and everything that somebody's 9 times out of 10, the DJ at the day shift is checked out any damn ways. He's just sitting there doing nothing anyways.
Well,
He's doing the same thing the system's doing, but poorly.
The one negative side effect of that is we don't have anyone being trained on those shifts. That's, usually where we put the up and comers.
We lost the farm system.
Or we put the guys on their way out. It was either the one's coming in or one's on the way down. We're kind of on those day shifts, which I'm sure caused more headaches than intended, but we are losing trained, talented people. I'm not quite sure where the talent pool for these companies that are using Show Club exclusively is going to be in 5 or 6 years. That's a question I'm kind of curious on. And they do kind of lean on the managers a whole lot more on these systems, which I'm sure the managers aren't thrilled about. They feel like they have a lot on their plate as it is.
It's on nights that get busy. If you don't have a DJ or a party host, so they're called. If you don't have somebody on the mic or controlling that system, it does create some issues. It's the same as any other employee not having them there, though. If you don't have a door girl, you don't have a bartender, it's going to affect your job. It's going to affect the income you can make. And that's my biggest argument about it is I think the system is great, but I think you can't expect it to replace the DJ or the party host, because if you do, it's going to end up costing you money. That money you're saving, if you're kind of stepping over a dollar to get to a dime a little bit, that money on those busy nights that you don't have somebody there, even if they're not really busy, you're losing money there. Those dances aren't being sold as frequently. Those specials, the 2-for-1s or whatever you're running, aren't being sold as powerfully or as successfully, because there's not that personal touch. There's not that, you know what I mean? The girls have a tendency, just like the customers, to block out that system after a little bit, and they don't pay attention. So guess what? You still got to run around and chase them for stage. You still got to go up and get them. So it's kind of, I don't know, kind of defeating the purpose a little bit on the busy nights. Again, it has a great purpose, a great place. It saves a bunch of money, and it does a lot of great things for the right shifts or the right clubs. At certain times, it doesn't do those things as well as it does. It does play the music and it does the things, the guidelines of it, but having somebody there makes a huge difference. Having somebody there that knows what they're doing and is good at their job makes a big difference.
And, depends on the size. It's great for a one-stage club, both these systems.
Yeah, this is my next question I'm going to get into.
Yeah,
so perfect.
It's great for a one-stage club, both of them. They work fine. They do okay for a two-stage club. If the more stages you add, though, neither one of them has really made it to where it's not confusing to just about everyone on how the rotation's going. It gets, the girls are used to being directed to every stage, and after it's sort of sent you on your way, it expects you to know where you're going next. And
yeah, it doesn't say that next one, the next stage or the following stage. That's where that DJ MC or whatever comes in, where he has to tell them where those other stages are. So,
and sometimes the DJ knows, okay, these girls that are coming up all know what to do. They've been working with me for years. We've got this down. I can just say their names are running. And then I got 3 new girls coming up next, and they need to be catered and directed the whole way.
And they're standing there looking around, trying to figure out where they go, and the next girl's trying to tell them, and it just,
you can't.
But I mean, that happens. That happens with a DJ too, though. I mean,
it's one of those things where you just can't have that personal touch. It does okay on a couple stages. Like I said, I don't think it's anywhere near ready for a big venue. I even tried some of the standalone software systems like Rotation X. Did great on building up 2 stages. I could get 6 or 7 stages rocking out of that and staggered with no problem. But it was the comeback down when we started taking girls out, keeping that balance in a different way. How a girl feels is fair in rotation versus how the computer program thinks it's supposed to are sometimes way different. And keeping everyone happy at the end of the night, keeping your entertainers there going as they're wanting to go home is really important. And those softwares kind of just plow right through them. They dictate too hard, and there's not any flexibility there.
Also, the ability to be on the fly with some things is a little bit difficult.
Well, I've learned to live within that 3 minute, and I need 60 seconds to change it.
You've got to fade in and out that you've got to cover up somehow. You know what I mean? So that's going to happen regardless. And if you're the manager up there trying to do that, it doesn't work very well.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I like about it is the display. There are computer displays, monitors throughout the club. And now let me see if I got this right. When a girl comes in, she goes over to one of the kiosks, one of the iPads or whatever, and she pops in her 4-digit code and says, "I'm here." So
Right.
say her name is Marilyn. And all of a sudden, Marilyn shows up on this little board, and then you slide Marilyn over into rotation. Am I right?
Pretty
And
much,
then
yeah.
say Marilyn halfway through the night sells a 15-minute private room or something where she's able to be taken off of the rotation. So that's where you go in. You say Marilyn's going to be off for 15 minutes. You slide her off, and then the next girl automatically slides up, right? So
Right.
when you've got this display out in the room, it's very cool because the girls aren't caught off guard. Oh shit, this girl just sold a VIP room, so now I'm next. They didn't know they were next. So that's the thing that I like about it is it displays the rotation.
It still falls back on your VIP host to tell the person who's in the VIP room, because if he doesn't tell the DJ, then the DJ doesn't know to pull them off.
Right.
If there's no DJ there, then who's he telling?
That's current issues, and
He's telling the manager, and then the manager's got to go up there, just like that check-in thing. The manager's got to go once that girl's up there. If there's no DJ, the manager's got to go up there and check the girls
Slide
in
her into rotation.
So it's the same difference. You have to have somebody in that booth to run that system. Still, regardless of whether it's a DJ or a manager, somebody has to do that. Somebody has to be up there, or it's just going to run rampant and it'll play shit you don't want it to play. And then you got to go up there, and it's still those are the bugs. Those are the negatives about it. Yes, it has positives, but it definitely has some negatives too.
but all that right there is going to be programmed in. That I can see the development with several.
Oh, and I can see that too, but
Yeah.
those are the issues right now with it. I mean, that's what the problems are now. And without those issues getting back to them, they don't know what the hell's going on, because it's that feedback. We've got to give them that feedback to make it work correctly.
I see a couple of programs that are being used inside our clubs all over the country, across the industry, certain softwares that are already integrated, that'll be cross-integrated with this software very soon. And so a lot of those issues that we're talking about right there, that'll be absorbed inside that system. But all of these systems are going to need data entry. No matter what, someone's going to have to manage, monitor, input, take out into these systems to keep it going. But it's less people doing it. I can remember back in the day where we used flashlights to signal each other across the club because we didn't have radios. And then we got radios, and everything kind of just changes and adapts. This is one of those automated systems that's kind of going through, and it's going to be integrated in at least 50% of the clubs across the country, from what I can see. Mm-hmm. So, learning to use the tools that we're given to the best of our ability and show why we still have a value. That's where the kick is. And I guarantee I can use Show Club and rock through any kind of show. To me, it's just playing music. Like I can use an automatic music player. I've used, what is it? Automix on Virtual DJ.
You can still choose your music. You can still pick out what you're going to play within that database. It's not like your hands are tied and you can't play that music if there's a DJ in the booth.
Right. Or floor.
Or on the floor or whatever. That's the catch that I have with a disclaimer with all the things I'm saying. If there's somebody up there to run the fucking thing, it works great.
Big shout out to all those guys who made this possible by screwing up their shifts and fucking off and sleeping with all the entertainers, doing drugs, and everything I did. Sorry.
So
that's where it came from, really, right then. If we hadn't screwed it up, they never thought to replace us.
Let me get back to the rotation question. I can see, again, where I was saying there's a display. You can see what girls are coming up next. If you're running one stage, that's perfect. If you're running two stages and you're running the follow rotation, which means you go
around the house,
a song on this one, then immediately a song on that one, then you're off, or even 3 stages on a follow rotation, I can see it working.
Right.
My club does I think they call it Texas rotation, staggered rotation, where you're on stage for, our sets are 3 songs. We do 3 songs on the main stage, then you're off for a while, and then you do 3 songs on another stage, and then you're off for a while. Can this program run a staggered rotation, and how would it, especially with girls coming on and going off for private rooms and things?
It can do it. You're going to have someone telling it when the girls are coming off.
Exactly.
It can do all of those things. It just still has to have someone kind of letting it know, because it doesn't have GPS tracker on every entertainer. It doesn't have some infrared eye to see who's on stage or not.
Not yet.
Well, like I said, 10, 15 years from now, it might
Maybe
be
have a little restaurant vibrating bracelets that tell you when your table's ready.
Yeah.
All the dancers will have on.
Look, I've dreamed of having that for girls to tell them when they're
God, I sound like fucking Drayton A.
Send them a fucking text, and they all got their phones. Okay, so Jeb, I like the way you guys do it at Pony Bama. I've been there. I've watched you do it. You're kind of networked with. I didn't go up in the booth with Dane's club, but I so it might be the same there. But your club, you're on the floor right there by your kiosk. You've got a VIP manager who is counting the dances and moving the girls in and out. Now, the way I think you guys do it, which is cool, once a girl comes in, she checks in at one of your kiosks. She's on the rotation. Now she sells a room. Your VIP host, he or she would slide the name over to a different column, and that means they're unavailable for 15 minutes or so.
Well, our particular system, we're using a club track, so it just lets me know who's actually in there. And as long as they're in there and checked into that area, then I take them off my rotation. I can actually visually see. And as soon as they leave, they go off of that list, and then they're back to active on my side.
Okay, so you can slide them back in anywhere. They don't have to be slid back into the original place. Okay.
Right. And inside the show club system, I could put them up next if they wanted to go next, or, they could be skipped a full rotation. You can kind of make it work however you want to with that. But having that data information right there and not having to rely on a radio or a person to actually tell me makes it a whole lot easier as far as knowing where my entertainers are.
As long as you have that club track screen in the DJ booth.
Right.
Yeah.
Or accessible.
If you don't have that club track screen, you're kind of screwed.
You're back to radio, or I've actually.
And that's what in our club, it's radio. So if the VIP host, that's what I was saying earlier, if the VIP host doesn't call off that person, then they're not called off. And if there's no DJ, who's he calling? He's not telling anybody. There's nobody pulling him off. So somebody
have to let him
go over there and pull him off.
Right. And there's clubs that they have those access kiosks right there with the VIP host.
Yeah, and it's just a setup thing. That's not a software issue or anything that's wrong with Show Club. It's just a setup issue the way that it is in the club. It's just, it needs to be, you have to put things in place to make it work for you. Just like as a DJ, you need to utilize the system that you have to work with to make it work for you and to be successful with it. Bitching about it ain't going to do you any good. It's going to get you replaced. So you might as well learn how to work with it and make it work.
My favorite thing about the Show Club is that here at the Pony, we only use the automated music side of it, but there's a lot more that takes even part of the manager's jobs away. There's automated payment systems where these entertainers, they're dealing with all of the money exchanging through that kiosk. They don't need a human to do it anymore. They don't have to go speak with the manager and ask permission if they can leave or not.
They can check in and out.
They can check in and out right by themselves.
Cover
take care of
manager.
everything else, be gone. Yes, cover manager coming to a club near you.
Yeah. Okay. So Dane, as a manager, good customer comes in. He's got $10,000. He says, "Okay, dude, I got $10,000 that I'm going to spend in here tonight, but I want to hear such and such song. That song is not in your database. Can you get that for the customer who's going to spend $10,000, or how do you tell him, oh, I'm sorry?
You could probably wake somebody up and explain the situation, and I would assume that they would do their absolute best to get it on. I've seen last minute situations that they have handled very well and gotten things done in the last second, in the middle of the night. So yes, it could be done, but it damn sure probably better be worth it, or there better be a reason that you're doing it. I mean, if you're going to wake somebody up for anything, in the middle of the night, you probably should have a very good reason. But I would say $10,000 for a song might dictate that, that reason.
Okay.
But I'm sure there would be other calls made prior to that one to make sure that that's something that we wanted to do. But
that comes back to the owner who has full control now of his musical database system.
So yeah, I would have to put out another text to wake somebody up to find out, and I'm sure that $10,000 again would probably be more than sufficient to play a song. But It would be something that I would definitely not just do. I would check first to make sure that it's,
I'm not gonna lie, I've enjoyed the lower amount of personal music requests that I've gotten since they've gotten, they've gotten used to the automation system and they know my answer is going to be like, I don't think I have it. And they've kind of given up on it. So, I enjoy having a lot less pestering. I do miss the $100 bill for a song though.
It does save some time as a DJ though, not having to download music and go and find stuff. And I mean, you still do need to pay attention and listen so you can help update that database, obviously, to what's out there. But it's more of a listening and Shazamming or whatever you want to do to save that song, to get it in. You know what I mean? Oh, we got to add this, or this is a great song and this would work in this club or whatever. But it does save you a lot of time in that. I spent a whole lot of time doing music or looking for music, hours and hours, 20, 30 hours a week looking for music that I wouldn't have to do now in this case. So,
So let me ask you this. What stops you from plugging your phone into the mixer and playing your own songs and bypassing Show Club? What's that?
There's no mixer.
What mixer?
There's no mixer.
No.
You have supposedly two sliders, one for your volume level and one for your music volume level and one for your microphone volume level, if it's set up right.
Right.
Is there EQ on the microphone? What happens when one DJ sounds more bassy than the other?
Well, here's the thing. Most of these facilities now, because they're using this system, have just one DJ. So the mic can actually be EQ'd out for that individual.
But not at the DJ booth. That's probably back at the amp rack.
No, you can actually do it at that kiosk. They just have to have someone who brings that screen up for you.
It's a password protected screen, so you can't get into the back end of it without somebody coming in and doing that for you. But
it can be adjusted. I just got a new sound system and had to readjust mine. It was one text, took 2 seconds. It's not that big.
And again, the response time has always been pretty good. There's not a delay. There's always somebody there that can answer your question. And again, there has been some last minute things that they did correct pretty quickly. So, all positive, positive.
Everybody wants to hate on it really bad, but honestly, I've enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I find I'm still as busy at work as I was when I had to pick every song, but I'm paying attention to things that are different. And instead of having to pick my next song, I'm literally paying more attention on getting those dances done. How many are staying in the room? How's my rotation on the floor going? Where's my energy at? Everything else, filling my time. I am busy nonstop and don't have a second to breathe, but I'm just not picking the next song. It has taken some tweaking. Like I said, the deactivate button inside Show Club is my favorite tool ever. I can, pick and choose which songs never play again inside a facility, because sometimes the database may be too broad, or I have some girls who can find the absolute worst song possible inside every database. They're like magicians. And we make sure that we hear it just one last time and it never gets played again. And I enjoy that factor of it too. There's some positives, there's some negatives. It all depends. My club's not huge. We only run 3 stages. It works perfectly for inside the environment that I'm currently in. I couldn't imagine using it at a place like Tootsie's or Scarlett's or Bucks. I couldn't. It wouldn't survive an afternoon shift in those facilities. They're just too large, too big, too many things happening, and too many changes for any automation to keep up with.
Well, I went to a club last weekend that was running Show Club and a live MC. I'll keep the name out of it because I don't bash clubs. I love the place, but here was my issue. I went. There was a feature performer there, and everything was going good. And then I guess the feature had the company had contracted Show Club to make a special intro for the feature with some different music under it. And here was my problem. I was standing at the bar. Yeah, we can't sit at bars anymore, can we? Standing at the bar, and music was playing for the regular house girls and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the volume dropped to about 75% of where it was. I heard some light music and a different voice reading this particular feature's credits. I thought it was kind of, almost like a radio commercial more so than than introducing feature. No hype, no nothing. And then the girl came on, and it's like nobody even bothered looking up from their phones. It was almost like, we're taking a break now, folks. So how do you fix this level issue when you've got different people recording your voice drops. When let me ask you this: as when you let it introduce your girls, are the voices at the same level?
I've got so many responses on this one. So let's start with the first one. I am just curious on why any DJ would let it run the auto intro. Those are able to be turned on and off. They're actually loaded individually.
But a lot of those girls want those auto intros because they know that it's going to get everything in them said that they want said on their credits. It's said correctly. It's read correctly. Blah blah blah.
Which there's a trust issue on that too. Secondly, the DJ's right there with the volume control and could have turned that up within seconds to let you know. As soon as he realized the volume was off, he should have cranked that up.
Mhm.
And then readjusted.
Just like with any track, we know that we've had tracks before that play at different levels, and we're DJing, and so what do? We turn it up.
And the third one is the levels are a current issue being addressed by that particular company on a lot of ways. When me and Dane first joined into this company, the first thing we did is attack that database. Like, of course, two Panda guys coming in, we're shredding through the database, and it's been a work in progress for our particular company. Where we get everything. The bit rates are there. It's just, you got a 240 or higher bit rate, 1983 Huey Lewis song, and you play it and it sounds muffled because you haven't gone through and got the brand new master, redone, re-released version that actually sounds good at that bit rate now. Mm-hmm. So having to go back through and rebuild that, and then making sure that there's a human being to check if there's any of those errors. That's, if you had done that on a Monday night without the DJ there, that's what it should have sounded like. But with a human being standing right there, it should have done that. Okay. It should have been adjusted. Simple fact.
Okay, we're running over, but it's a good topic, so I don't
knew it's going to happen.
Yeah, because I got a million questions, and I'm I want
to
know.
There's going to be a million more. This will probably be a two-parter.
A DJ walks into his club, and all of a sudden the owner says, okay, next week we are putting in this show club, and we're still going to use you because, it's still going to take a person. In my opinion, I'm going to be a little nervous because I think, okay, yeah, you're going to keep me on until I get this fine-tuned and worked out, and then you're going to cut me. That would be honestly, that you want me to stick around for a couple of months and fine tune it and get this all working for you. And then in 2 months, once it's all working so perfect that it sounds great, then you're going to cut me. That's my thought.
I thought that too, because that's what happened to me at Deja Vu in Colorado Springs. I ended up being a manager. So, in some way it did kind of happen.
So you got to know.
No, it's scary at first. And, even inside our own group, we got really aggressive. Wild Bill felt a lot of the first brunt wave of that aggression back when Cover Jock first came out. Mm-hmm. If it can replace you, it probably should. And that's as the baseline as I could put it. Because honestly, as a human being, I can outperform it any day. It needs me. I don't need it. Mm-hmm. And that's where the game changes. And if you feel intimidated by some automatic software, then I feel sorry for you. I can remember when I had to bring CD cases and stacks of books just to even get through a shift. And then we got it all on MP3 and then we got auto mix, and a lot of our guys still to this day, beat match, auto mix, tone pitch, all of that's on auto. It's 2 buttons and they're playing through, and that replaced a lot of skilled talent people there too. You're going to have to adapt and adjust. I haven't been in a DJ booth since I moved here. I absolutely hate the box they have, and I refuse to go inside it. I'm enjoying life on the floor and getting to run around and not being tied down. And if I need to take a break, I turn the voice thing back on and I can go to the bathroom instead of having to play Stranglehold and make everybody listen to an 8-minute Ted Nugent song.
Yeah. Again, it does regulate those dances. It keeps that time going.
You can set it for a time, right? I think you guys set yours at 3 minutes. At the 3
minutes, adjust it any time.
Is going to adjust, and it's so you do. I can see from that side of it that would pick up. So I think one thing I do want to say, your owner, Jerry, is an amazing man. I would not worry about him replacing me with this automated system, just because I set it up for him. I would trust him, and I see the trust that you have for him. I love Jerry. He's a great guy. I just worry about other clubs. I don't think mine would do it. Actually, I don't think it could, because we run the staggered rotation. We got too many changes on and off, but Couldn't, I mean, say do it without a AMC. I could see the system in, but you would still need the DJ up there. So basically your point is, if you're not better than the program, you better either get better or you're
You're
getting
replaced.
We've said it for years, man. Bring some value other than, what else can you do? What else? You can't be expendable, or you're going to be expendable.
Okay. I've been pretty kind to this program and this automation up until now, but
Waiting for it.
I was on this company's website, Show Club VIP, and this is a screenshot of it. And I don't know if you can read that fine print or not. And if you can, I will read it to you. This is their sales pitch.
You can read the fine print?
What's that?
I said, you can read that fine print?
I got it on a screen next to me. Remove, I'm going to do this in a real dramatic voice. Hold on. Remove unreliable, unpredictable, and fraternizing house DJs from the gentleman's club equation, and you are left with automation, consistency, and increased revenue. Bro, I think I might have threw that last word in, but I mean, basically, this is what pissed me off about the company. Are you saying that every DJ out there is unreliable, unpredictable, and fraternizing house DJs? It's just, you're not saying, hey, DJs, you can work with this program. It's saying, get these fucking assholes out of your system and we can replace that because you don't need these DJs because they're all like this. Dane, did I raise your blood pressure a little?
I don't like it. I was trying to ignore it. I think it's very a bit condescending towards DJs. I think it's not really that, but it's probably something that's been said by how many owners though about DJs. How many times has the DJ put himself in that position to be that comment to be made about? I mean, yes, it pisses me off. Sure it does. Do I think it's offensive? Hell yeah, I do, because I take pride in my job and I do the best I can at my job. The people that don't, I think, is who that's more directed to, but the ones that do are the ones that are taking offense to it, I think. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You could put that category under anybody that works in this industry. I've seen that in managers. I've seen that at every staff position inside the club.
So is that correct for some group of people? Probably yes. Mm-hmm. I would say yeah. Does it trigger an effect? Yes.
And I think that was more the intent. And they got more advertising out of us reacting to that when it first came out than they spent.
It triggered the response that they wanted.
I will say that if you want to know why DJs are not on board with your program,
that's why.
It's that right there. Because you're not saying, hey, a DJ can work alongside this. You're saying we can get rid of them and save money. And the other one, Cover Jock, I think I got an email from them the other day that I thought that their marketing was stretching a little bit when they said they're really searching hard. Resistant to biological viruses.
Their software can't catch COVID, so buy it.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? Just play the music? You can't have any girls there either. That's a stupid fucking thing to say.
That and their spelling is not very good.
See, this one was much better campaign than that. That's just doesn't make any sense.
But both of them are they have their pluses and they have their minuses. When it comes to the industry, it all depends on what you're trying to do inside your facility and whether or not it works for you. As far as reliability, one's definitely better than the other. There's not much question of that, and you can kind of see that as the industry's making its choices.
Definitely.
It's definitely going to be part of our future, without a doubt, but it's not the end all. It's not a replacement. Walmart has one or two people working the checkout aisles and everything now is automated, but we still have stuff on the shelves. There's still people working in Walmart. There may not be as many of us working in these clubs in the future. They don't need 3 DJs to work an entire club week. They can run on one. So it does save them money that way, but they're still going to need somebody.
Just like in the past, man, when we started and we were using turntables and cassettes and mini discs and then CDs and then computers. If you did not adapt to what was happening, you got passed over, you got passed by. So my advice to all of you is to fucking adapt to what's going on, figure out how to use it, make it yours, and make it work. Because otherwise, you're gonna get passed over, and you're gonna be over in the fucking bin with the records, man.
I'll be as real as I can. I've made Show Club my bitch. It's my little assistant. It works for me. You know, I don't work for that company. I don't work for that program. That program works for me. Okay. And it works fine for me. I'm going to stand right there and push buttons all night long on it. It's fine.
If you have the right person controlling it, it's a great thing to use for your club.
Okay. Okay. Well, that answered some questions for me. Coming up next week on Strip Club Video, this is going to be awesome. My good friend Michael Davis, he's always put together different parody songs or songs off of cover songs toward Expo and different ED events and things like that. He wrote a song, and he has Josh Fiore doing a rap line on it.
Can't wait.
I have heard the song, and I'm going to tell you it is outstanding. It is really, really good. Michael flew down to Miami. He's there right now. They are shooting the music video to this song. Next week on our show, Strip Club Video, we will have Josh, we will have Michael on the show, and we will debut that music video, provided he gets it done in time. But I've heard the audio, and the audio it's outstanding. I mean,
I heard Don Johnson might make a surprise appearance in that music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never know.
I heard.
Yeah. Huh. I thought Gloria
helps.
Pop in there, but you never know. We'll find out. That's all coming up next week. We try to get these shows out on Tuesday. It's Tuesday right now. I got a hell of a lot of rendering to do. I don't know if I'll get the show up by the end of the day today or not, because I got to go to work tonight. But the quicker we get off of here, the quicker I'll have a chance of getting this up before I leave for work. So, Jarrell, Dane Hansen, Danny Meyers. See you next week.
Yeah. Peace.